Since AMD started to make APUs based on the Zen architectures, there were many who would skip a discrete GPU if they were building an ultra-budget gaming build, because most of these APUs were able to perform just as good as a sub-$100 entry-level graphics card. With every Ryzen generation, AMD always paid attention to bringing more new APUs based on the newest Zen architecture that would replace the older ones. That said, many of the older gen Ryzen APUs have almost died in the market or are even more expensive than the latest APUs that bring superior performance for the same or less price. However, what if AMD decides to sell some of the older APUs for an even lower price? If this happens, then there must be some motive behind it, because typically CPU manufacturers don't have any need to bring back older chips when the demand is already dead for them. Let's take a look at what does the new report says about AMD APUs, but before that, make sure to subscribe to never miss any such updates in the future. According to a new report from Board Channel forums, AMD is coming back with the Ryzen 3000G APUs for low-end PC market. Yes, this is surprising, but AMD is not going to sell these APUs individually, because according to the report, AMD is planning to sell these APUs in a bundle with A320 and B450 chipset motherboards. While there seems to be no restriction for selling these bundles around the world, this decision will be mostly benefiting the Chinese market, for which AMD is supposedly preparing 30,000 Ryzen APUs. While this may sound interesting, there is a big problem with the pricing. If you remember, Ryzen 3200 and 3400G were launched for $100 and $150 respectively, and currently both of them are available on retail stores for the same MSRP or sometimes for a little less. At the same time, we have Ryzen 4600G and 5600G selling for the same price range, and they are significantly superior to Ryzen 3000G APUs in both specs and performance. This means AMD must reduce the pricing of 3000G APUs drastically to make them more appealing. As per WCCF Tech, it is estimated that both 3200G and 3400G will be selling for way lower than $100. So if this is the case, then these APUs can have a chance to sell well, considering if the 3200G is sold for no more than $70 and the 3400G for a maximum of $80 to $85. Taking in account that AMD is bundling them with A320 and B450 chipset motherboards, this should result in a pretty good discount for customers, as these boards are still available in good quantity after several years of their launch. I just hope that AMD brings better pricing for users, because both 3200 and 3400G were pretty solid for 1080p low settings gaming, while the Athlon 3000G was ideal for 720p resolution. This will allow people to build ultra budget gaming builds for less than $300. But if AMD wants to impress its customers like it should, then it should probably focus more on preparing Ryzen 7000 APUs for the AM5 platform. And talking about APUs, AMD is still behind its plans for making the Phoenix APUs available for laptop users. It has been now several weeks already since we have been seeing the leaks related to Phoenix chips, and despite being already 1 month late, AMD has again delayed its Phoenix laptops launch by several more weeks. According to a new report, AMD spokesperson talked to Tom's Hardware and said that they have already started ramping production of 7040 chips, and these APUs were already being shipped in the last quarter, which means the Q4 2022. AMD expects that these laptops are going to hit retail stores over the next several weeks. And with that, AMD is also planning more Ryzen 7040 APUs made for low power laptops. The company just announced the Ryzen 7040U chips that are rated at 15 to 30 watts and feature APUs starting from as low as 4 cores and 8 threads config to 8 cores and 16 threads 7840U. AMD says that these APUs are incredibly power efficient and will boast exceptional battery life. The interesting thing is that all of these APUs are going to bring the RDNA 3 based iGPUs, including the all new entry level 7040M and the already known Radeon 760 and 780M iGPUs. Of course, this is just the official announcement on paper, but I don't think AMD has any plans to launch this one until its 7040H series laptops are already out for sale. And lastly, if you have been waiting for mid-range GPUs, then you can find one soon, as AIBs have started making different models for AMD and Nvidia's latest gen GPUs. As leaked by Twitter user Harukaze, Gigabyte is producing not 2 or 3 but 9 models for the RTX 4060 Ti alone. As listed by Gigabyte, the Eurasian Economic Commission website shows all different types of models for the 4060 Ti, and as updated by Harukaze, Gigabyte has also prepared 2 variants of the Radeon RX 7600 GPU. A similar leak also pointed toward ASRock's 3 different models for RX 7600, which were recently added to the website, and this indicates that AMD is probably interested in launching the non-XT model for the RX 7600 before the XT one. That said, the problem here is that both these GPUs feature 8GB VRAM on a 128-bit memory bus. At this point, what matters the most is their pricing. While the RX 7600 is likely to be launched for around $300, the 4060 Ti is probably going to be a big failure if it goes for more than $400. I believe that Nvidia already knows the situation with 8GB GPUs, and just like it is slowly reducing the price of its higher end cards like the 4070 and 4080, it would be a good decision if Nvidia decides to launch the 4060 Ti for $350. Let me know what price do you think these cards should be launched for in the comments below. Hit the like button if you found the video informative and subscribe for more interesting stories like this. Make sure to turn on the notifications to get notified every time I upload a video, and I will see you in the next one.